You know, in flooding emergencies, it can get very complicated because sometimes people think that just because the water levels have fallen, the crisis is over. But in fact, sometimes we worry more when the waters go down and people start moving in too fast before structures have been put in place, because that's where sometimes you have waterborne diseases, you have outbreaks of things like cholera, and many other ailments. So we have to be very, very careful. Everything has to be coordinated. Everything has to be done in tandem so that people can be taken back to their habitations in an organized way, and so that there aren't too many problems arising as an aftermath.
So now we are seeing local partners and actors coming together in order to address this issue with recovery issues. But what does long-term mitigation mean? What would that look like?
When you talk about an emergency, you're talking about a time-bound occurrence. But then you have to deal with the issues of recovery. How do you deal with bridges that have been pulled down, houses that have been destroyed, livelihoods, farms that have been destroyed? How do you recover from that? And that's more long-term. It's easy to go in there and provide the food. It's easy to go in there and provide the medication, but it's not as easy to start rebuilding. But it is extremely important to start thinking that even during the emergency, because you're going to come to that, and that is actually the most important. And in fact, what we are seeing in this country now, we have a lot of experience in dealing with the frequent flooding that happens. But we were not ready for this. The country was not ready for this. And even the partners were not ready for this. And this tells you that there's something beyond what we are seeing with the naked eye. And that is, that proves to you that all this discussion that is going on around the world about climate change, it's real. The government has put in a lot of efforts to try and mitigate, to try and prepare for these eventualities. But this time, all the systems were overcome. And you know, unfortunately, we are in a situation in the world where these occurrences will continue to happen. We are talking about climate change. We are talking about disasters of unknown proportions that have been happening in different countries. We have the El Nino rains in some parts of the continent, which may have affected what's going on here. So I think we are progressively moving towards a situation where we have to start having this very, very serious discussions. And we really now need to get all the experts that we can. We need to get the partners involved. This crisis has shown us that there are certain things that countries by themselves cannot deal with. And this calls for multilateralism. We really have come to a position where we need to look long-term, where we need to start discussing mitigation, and where we have to start thinking about what will happen 10 years down the line.